So I recently moved to a new area, and it's quite nice because I have all these facilities. I have my gym. I'm very, very near to work, and I basically only have to live there. I don't have to go out. I don't have to go in another district, and I just have to stay there, go to work, go to the gym. I have a lot of restaurants here, a lot of quite different cuisines, if you'd want to say so. And it is on the one hand really good because obviously you save a lot of time, but on the other hand it's just like very mundane and oh, that's a new message. But it's quite nice, and I'm getting used to it, and I like the fact that I'm spending less time commuting. But man, it just draws on me. Like I see these people in and out, and they go to work. We go to the gym. Basically, all the same people every day. Like you see the same guys in the gym, which is not particularly bad. But yeah, it just draws on me. Like I see these workers who are obviously working white collar jobs, and they're in their careers because we have a lot of also bigger companies here where we are sitting, and they're just soulless, man. Like you see some of them, they're probably like around the ages of 35, 40, and they have a good job, they have a stable job, they have maybe they even have a mortgage by this point now, and maybe they have a family. They clock in, they clock out, they might go to the gym, might not, and then they drive home. Now I obviously have the luck of now living here in the area, which makes it, as I said, quite nice because the commute is basically zero to my work. But I've kind of just realized, especially young people, if if young people don't fight for their soul, it's sooner or later, especially in the way our economy right now is restricted, they're just gonna lose it, man. Like, and everybody has a different way to cope with it. Like I was here yesterday, yeah, yesterday, and there is this big party location, this kind of techno club that now started again, which has quite a nice indoor thing from what I've seen. But like, it is just fascinating to see how people cope. Like, I truly think if you're a young man and if you are just slightly ambitious, you should just just lock in. And I don't mean like lock in a way that is unhealthy, but the world we live in now is far more distracting than it used to be, and it's not just alcohol anymore. It's not just women anymore. You have a lot of even more dangerous things like social media, porn, drugs, all of these things, which is, I mean, in a way, the coping mechanisms of people and young people these days. But well, obviously, I for myself never really got into those hard things, I would say. But I obviously had my one or two vices that slightly got rid of over the past few years, and but yeah, it's just drawing to see how young people in this environment try to cope. And the more you cope, and everybody's going to say to you, your 20s are there to live them up, and you're to just party and to enjoy them. But if you think about your grandparents, if you think about your parents even, they just grew up sooner. Like they just grew up sooner, and that was one of the reasons why they maybe even had a child in their early 20s, mid 20s, had a house, and they had a job, and they were working probably much harder than these kids now. And I'm guilty of that too. I mean, I'm also a child of that generation, and I was born with the the blessings of technology, but also the curses. And it's quite dangerous to see how society is heading right now, because so many young people are coping in a way that is not healthy at all. And I wonder how exactly that particular group of people who is now in their early 20s and maybe even early 30s in a decade will be sitting in society, because now with AI also having a huge impact on how things in the workforce are shifting, and how everything is more and more getting automated. And it's not a doom scenario, but if you think about some of the papers that especially Anthropic released, you could fall into a negative thinking spiral, definitely, if you're not careful. And now obviously I have a lot of things to do on my own. I can't fix society. I have to fix my own life. I mean, not fix, but like just continue and do more and get on track with what I'm already doing. But I just I just had this inspiration, because I was sitting on the balcony yesterday and I could see basically those young people going into that nightclub. And there are a lot of other clubs, because it's like a club in the fifth, sixth floor of a bigger apartment. You could just see them partying. And I mean, it's not something that is not always been like it. Society has always been like this, and there were always people like that, and there were always people like me. Like for me, the idea of getting drunk, or I mean, never drank a sip of alcohol in my life ever till this day, but just the idea of getting drunk and dancing around, or dancing would be, I hate to say it, but dancing is offending to those people who actually do actual dance. I mean, it's not a bad thing, I would say, but the fact that people cope so hard with what is going on in their lives by all these with all these things is just very, very sad to see. Like, it's very sad, and my dad usually tells me to just not care about what anybody else is doing, where he's probably right. I shouldn't even care at all, but I care a lot, because I mean, obviously I've not been in that path quite literally, but I've also had my distractions, and I can see that if you're a young man who is trying to do anything in life, you need focus and discipline. And it is so hard in a world full of distractions and different kind of ways people cope with it. Like, we are still young. Like, my generation is still young, and I see guys drinking bottles of alcohol like they're trying to cope their way out of a fucking war. People in war didn't even probably drink that much or try to cope with it. And I wonder, like, what is going to happen tomorrow in a decade when you're trying to buy a home, or have a family and pay their rent, and then life hits hard because you obviously can't do it because you didn't do shit the last 10 years. And how much alcohol are you going to drink then? Like, it's I mean, it's a quite fascinating topic to talk about, and I'm going to talk about the business stuff, obviously, but it's a important topic, as selfish as I am, because you see just that it's not net positive for society and for the future children that will be born into this world. And I don't want to be I'm far from Jesus. I'm very selfish, and I only care about what I'm doing, my goals. But sometimes I do wonder if this is like the breaking point. But obviously we still have time. And yeah, all I want to say is, if you're a guy who is young and ambitious, just you need to find other ways to cope with any kind of emotional stress, or I hate the word, but emotional trauma that was brought into your life, because if you don't do so, you're just gonna spiral into a hell, man. You're just gonna spiral into hell, and it's gonna lead to nowhere. And the sooner you accept that you have to face your problems and your day-to-day activities head on, the easier it gets, and the more responsibility you take. And especially stop being like a child when you're not in that age anymore. The sooner you do that, the calmer you're gonna feel. Because I've seen a lot of people who are now older and who chased the women, who partied the hell, did the drugs, and then ended up being 30 and just starting from scratch, which is not a disaster. Obviously, you could be dead, but like, if this helps you in any way regards, or gives you a reminder to just not drink your fucking brain out, or do any other stuff that might hinder you in your goals and ways, and please just stop doing it, because you're gonna waste your life, you're gonna destroy it, and it's not satisfying. Like the problem is everybody who has chased any of these vices, and I've done so too, the things of my part, like my vices and of vices of the past, you get to a point where you're just like, this is a black hole, and the more I chase of it, the less meaning I'm going to have. Like, and because there is no end. Like, we always think that once we reach that next high, we're finished, and our self-esteem, or call it self-worth, is finally, that hole in your soul is finally filled. And it's frankly not going to be the case. It's not. That is not what brings you fulfillment. That is not what's going to fill that hole in your soul. So if this is a reminder to you that that is not the path, then let it be it. Bye.